Hi YouTube and welcome back to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for joining me again for another video. If you are brand new around here, hi, I'm Bella Foxwell. I'm an Instagram strategist and educator that drops a brand new video to YouTube every single Friday. Today we're talking about something that I know troubles a lot of people. I know it is a headache for a lot of people, and that is market research. How can you figure out what it is that your audience wants? And while everything that I talk about is specifically related to Instagram, because that is my jam, that is what I talk about, the tips I'm going to give you today can be used for loads of different purposes. It doesn't just have to be with relation to Instagram. So today we're really going to dig into how you can conduct some really thorough market research to really get inside the head of your audience and figure out what it is that they want, what makes them tick, so that you can create content that speaks to them and that does really well and generates great engagement, specifically on Instagram. Now, the caveat for this video is that it is designed for people who already have a brand set up or a business, or at least a business idea. If you've no idea what it is that you want to sell or to offer to people, then you really need to figure that out first. I have to say that because I get a lot of people messaging me, asking me, how do they know what their audience wants, but yet they don't know what they are offering yet. They don't know what their business idea is or their brand. They have no idea. So you need to really figure that out first, or do some research into where you think there is a gap in the market. And then when you know that, then you can start doing your audience research. So without further ado, let's jump into the tips. So what I advise that you do is start by having a living document. Now, my living document of choice would be a Google Doc because it's always online, I can easily access it and I can edit it as I go. You might use something else, you might have a more sophisticated tool, you might even have a pen and paper if that is how you prefer to work. But I recommend getting something that you know you can easily access and add to, something that isn't going to gather dust. So for me, that's a Google Doc. It might be Google Sheets for you. And you want to title this your IC profile. Now add in there the information you already know. You may already know the gender of your IC, you may already know their income status, you might know a bit about their job, you might know a little bit about their lifestyle, you might know where they live, you might know whether they have a family. Any of those stats or facts that you have, add them into your document. So this is a great starting point. But while demographic stats like the ones I've just mentioned are a good starting point, they don't go deep enough. And the point of your market research is that you're really going to dig deep into who your IC is, what makes them tick, most importantly, what it is that they want and what it is that they're struggling with and how you can solve that struggle for them. On the screen now, I'm going to put the 3 questions, I think it's 3, maybe it's 4, but I'm going to put them on the screen. The questions that you really want to be getting answers to throughout your market research and throughout the tips that I'm going to give you to conduct the market research. These are really the questions you want to be getting the answers to. So that is, what is your IC's problem? How and why are they struggling to solve it? And what would their life look like? And how would they feel if they solved that struggle? These are questions that are really important, whether you're selling a lawnmower or whether you're selling a coaching package. They are really important questions because demographic stats like the income of your IC and where they live will only get you so far. To be able to really create content that speaks to them, you really need to drill down into where it is they're struggling and what that transformation would look like for them, because then you can show them how your product or service provides that. So now on to the actual research tips. Where do you go to find out this juicy information about your audience? The first place I would start is with your existing or your past customers and clients. You can do this with an email survey, a call or a video call, but get in touch with them and ask them some specific questions about where they were struggling or what their problem was or how they were feeling before they started working with you or before they bought your product, and how your product or service transformed them. How did it transform them? How did it not only solve their problem, but actually ended up having a ripple effect in other areas of their life? So a relationship coach, when they work with their customers and their clients, yes, they solve the surface issue. Maybe it's a couple that are trying to work through their issue and not actually ending in divorce. But that doesn't just solve the problem of not getting a divorce. That also has a ripple effect on the rest of their life. They have a better relationship with each other, but they also have a better relationship with themselves, with their children, with their friends and their extended family. So that is an example of how figuring out and asking people where your product or service not just solved their problem, but actually solved other areas of their life and helped and impacted other areas of their life is really great information for you. So get on the phone with them or send them an email and ask them some specific open-ended questions about where they were before they started working with you or bought your product and where they got to after. What was that transformation from A to B? My next tip is to make the most of Instagram stickers. Now, Instagram stories, where you would use your Instagram stickers, are a fantastic way of getting information from your audience, from your existing community. And a really powerful way to use them is to think about the questions that what you want to ask your target audience. Think about the assumptions you already have, and then put these questions and thoughts in an Instagram story and make the most of the poll stickers and the quiz stickers and occasionally the question stickers. Now, the reason I say think about the questions you already have and the assumptions you already have is because showing up on Instagram stories and just using the question box and saying, what do you think about this? Where are you struggling? You won't get many responses, because generally speaking, people, when they're swiping through their Instagram stories, they don't want to then commit to hitting a question sticker and writing out a whole long response. So you will be better off by giving people options to choose from and then making the most of the poll sticker. So for example, I might say, are you struggling right now more with content creation or daily proactive engagement, A or B? And I give people the option to click A or B. Another thing I might say is, where are you struggling most right now? And I'll use the quiz sticker and I'll say Instagram stories, main feed content, in daily proactive engagement, or mindlessly scrolling. And I will put those options in a quiz sticker and I will give people the option to click one of them. Using a combination of poll stickers, quiz stickers, and occasionally a question sticker is a really great way of figuring out and kind of refining what you already know about your audience, about your IC. So I would have some information at your fingertips already about your IC and where they might be struggling and what areas they might be particularly struggling in, and then use Instagram stories to actually refine that information and to get some clearer answers. Now, one of the brilliant things is that when you use these poll stickers, for the people that engage with them, you can follow up with them. So if you do one of these market research stories and you have people engaging on your poll, even if it's one person, follow up with them, and you could always say to them, thank you so much for engaging in my story today. Thank you for taking part. I really appreciate it. Would you mind if I asked you a couple more questions? And that is where you could say to them, you could actually drill down a bit deeper into their problem or where they're struggling or what their big goal is. And so you get them into your DMs and you offer them an incentive. You say to them that you will offer them a credit on your next product or service when it launches in exchange for their help. A lot of people will probably just say, it's fine, I'm more than willing to help you, but it's good to give them an incentive to encourage them. And having that DM one-on-one conversation is not only going to give you great market research and great information, but it means that in the future, that person will be more comfortable about sliding into your DMs when you share stories in the future about your product or service. I did this recently with somebody. I actually reached out to them. They are somebody that engages a lot and watches a lot of my stories. And I just sent her a message, a DM, and I said, I'd really love to ask you 4 questions to help me with my market research. I was really upfront. I was really transparent. I said to her, I'm not going to pitch you, so don't worry. I just would like to do this for market research. And she was more than willing to help me. The next tip is to analyze your social media data. So wherever you have a presence online, have a look at the analytics. So that could be your Instagram insights. You could have a look at the activity and the data of the people there, the split between male and female, where they're based, when they are most active. The information you'll find in your Instagram insights, it only gets you so far. I wouldn't rely on that information too heavily, but it is a good starting point if you're starting from scratch. If you have a website, have a look at your Google Analytics. Again, see what content people are consuming most. If you have a blog, because that could help you see particularly where people are struggling and where they're turning to most on your website for information. If you have a Facebook group, if you have a Facebook account, again, have a look at the data, have a look at the people who are in that group, have a look at some of their accounts, see if there's any information you can find out about them, if there's any common trends and themes that you're seeing emerging about the kinds of people in your community. That brings me on to specifically with Instagram. Have a look at your Instagram community. Have a look at the people already following you and check them out. Have a look at their Instagram accounts, see the stories that they're uploading, see the content they're sharing. People show up on Instagram talking about their hobbies, the things that matter to them, their family, the things that they enjoy doing. This is such good market research because you can really get inside the head of your ideal customers and clients and figure out what makes them tick and what matters to them. So do a bit of digging, have a look at your existing community and check out their Instagram accounts. The next tip is to check out the competition. So this can be a really great way of seeing what content is resonating with your competition's IC and therefore what might resonate with your IC as well. Now, just because your competition is sharing a particular type of content and messaging, it doesn't mean that it will resonate with your audience because all of our audiences are different. All of our ideal customers and clients are different, even if we're offering a similar service or product to somebody else. But it is a good place to gather some information about what those kind of clients, your kind of clients and customers, what content might be resonating with them, what topics and themes and post types, whether it's video or carousels or static imagery, what might work for your audience as well. So for example, I might have a look at somebody who is doing something similar to me, Laurie Wang. I might have a look at her content to see what kind of content is she sharing? What kind of themes and topics is she talking about? Because that might work for my ideal customers and clients as well. And I might make a note of some of the questions that I see in the comment section that people are leaving. If people are leaving questions and concerns and thoughts, that might be helpful for me because it might show up where my audience might be struggling as well and the questions that my customers and clients might also have. So all of this information, I'm adding it into my living, breathing Google Doc. So the next tip is to send an email to your email list. Send a survey to your email list. Now, if you don't have an email list set up, can I just say, do that today, put that on your priority list. Email is one of the best ways to develop and maintain relationships with your ideal customers and clients. It's also one of the best ways to sell to them. So please make this a priority. If you do have an email list already, then send a survey out to them. Don't send a hugely long survey because people will not fill it in. Make your survey maybe 4 or 5 questions tops and make those questions really specific and give your audience the opportunity to actually write more than one word answers. So don't ask leading questions, don't ask questions that have a yes or no answer. Give them the opportunity to actually write a bigger response and make sure they're really specific and targeted. So for anybody that does fill out the answers, you get the information that you need. So my next tip is to search relevant Facebook groups in your niche or industry where lots of people are gathering and sharing information and asking questions and talking about where they're struggling. There are loads of Facebook groups like this. For me in particular, the online entrepreneurship space, there are tons of Facebook groups where everybody gathers and, as I said, asks questions, share information. But there are Facebook groups for almost everything out there. I can immediately think of the photography groups that there are, both local and worldwide, where people from beginners right through to experienced photographers share information and questions. Just have a bit of a search on Facebook and see whether there is a relevant Facebook group for you. And when you get accepted into it, read the rules and the regulations about what you can and can't post. But generally speaking, most Facebook groups are good about posting a question or doing some market research, as long as you're not selling yourself in the Facebook group. You could post a question in that group saying that you are doing some market research and could you have a 10-minute conversation or could you share a very short survey with X people. Be very specific about who it is you're looking for because otherwise you might be inundated with people that don't actually look at all like your IC. What you can also do in these Facebook groups is search for the word challenge, help, problem, struggle. Search for those words in the search box of that Facebook group, and it will bring up all of the posts where people have shared issues they're struggling with, problems they're having, and that will help you again understand where it is that your IC is struggling. My final tip is particularly useful if you are very, very new in your business and you might not yet have a very big Instagram community, you might not have an email list, you might not have a lot of resources at your fingertips to turn to do your market research. Think about the acquaintances you have, your friends and family as well, who look like your ideal customer or client. Who do you know? You don't have to know them incredibly well, but who do you know that does look a lot like your IC? Set up a call with them. Ask them if you could have 20 minutes of their time to run through some questions and to figure out more about them, find out more about them, find out where they're struggling. And this could be a really good starting point for your market research. I would offer an incentive if you can, whether it's treating them to something, a cup of coffee, or whether it's offering them a discount on your product or service when it is launched. But offering it an incentive is a really great way of actually getting people on the call, on the phone. You might not have to if they're a friend or family, but this is a great way of actually getting people to more willingly take part. But this could be a great place to start with your market research. And chances are you probably do know somebody who does look a lot like your IC. So start there and start with that research. And remember, you should be conducting your market research regularly, at least every couple of months, because your customers are going to change as you do. And as your business evolves and you change the things that you offer, you diversify, you get bigger, you grow, you evolve, so too will the people that you are targeting. And they might change entirely. So that's why it's really important to keep on top of your market research, so you always stay in touch with who your ideal customers and clients are, and you always make sure that your messaging and marketing is going to resonate with them. That's all for this week's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you feel a little more comfortable and a little less overwhelmed about market research and how to conduct it to get really good results and to make your business and your marketing and messaging even more powerful. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe and bell button so you never miss a new video when it goes live every single Friday. I've dropped a bunch of free resources in the description box below, including links to other videos like this and also a link to my free 4-day email challenge, which is great whether you are brand new to Instagram or whether you've been on Instagram for a few years and you're feeling a little bit stagnant. That is the challenge for you. I will see you next week for a brand new video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.